Hi, I'm Alden Bowers. Thanks for joining me again. I am an author of horror and suspense who has several books published, including Once in a Blood Moon, A Werewolf's Tale, and Cataloosa Island. Hope you'll check them out. I'll put a link in the description below. Today, I am going to talk to you about writing style guides. A few months ago on Twitter, I saw a tweet asking about whether to spell out numbers or to use the figure. Now, if only there were a simple way to get answers to these questions. Well, it turns out there is. There are numerous writing style guides out there that you can go to for a reference on this stuff. This one happens to be the Associated Press Style Guide, which I used quite frequently in my days as a newspaper reporter. And on the subject of numbers, to answer that question right here and now, flip to page 181. Numerals has a whole listing, several pages, devoted to how to use numbers, cardinal numbers, ordinal numbers, fractions, decimals. And here, under other uses, for uses not covered in these listings, spell out whole numbers before 10. Use figures for 10 and above. Simple, right? Of course, there are exceptions to that, like interstate highway designations. You would write that as I-4 no matter what the digit is, but that's a different matter. Truth is, these books will save you a lot of time and head scratching when it comes to that stuff. So I highly suggest investing a little bit of money and purchasing one. Another thing that these style books are good for is they will have listings about trademark names. Using a trademark name like Xerox, Kleenex, Dumpster can get you into trouble with the trademark holder one time. One time in my newspaper days, I was writing an article and a certain brand of engine brake was used in a proper quote. I am not going to mention it because they defend their trademark rather vociferously, and a few weeks later I received a nice little love letter from the company that held the trademark telling me to cease and desist. So if something is a proper name and might be trademarked, look it up in your style book and make sure. Instead of having your character use a Kleenex, have him use a tissue. That might save you getting a cease and desist letter. And of course, Associated Press is not the only one. It's geared primarily for journalists. There is one called The Careful Writer, a guide to troublesome words out there also. That's geared more towards fiction writers. And another one that we used frequently in journalism that's geared primarily towards grammar and proper usage is Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. and E.B. White. That is as dry and boring to read as stale toast, but it's well worth it and it will help you with your writing. I would suggest picking up copies of both of these, at least one style manual and Elements of Style. Have them near your writing desk. When in doubt, look that stuff up. There are also online resources like Dictionary.com, Merriam-Webster, online thesauruses. The beauty of these books, however, is it will tell you if you're using those synonyms properly. Again, definitely invest in a copy of them. You will not regret it. So that is about all for this week. Of course, don't forget my new book, Nightmare Highway, is available on Smashwords. I will put a link in the description. Sorry about the short entry this week. I'll be back next week, talk a little bit more in depth about trademarks and usage. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Questions or comments, put them below, like, and subscribe.